School community owners who struggle to fill and sell their communities have a ton of problems. Their about page isn't optimized, they have a weak offer, they're very inconsistent, they don't drive enough traffic. But what if I told you that all of these problems are symptoms of one underlying root cause? And that underlying root cause is a lack of clarity around how they provide value in their community and how they want to lead their community around core decisions. So what I'll give you in this video is a questions catalog that you can ask yourself and a mechanism that you can use to gain clarity whenever needed. And in the beginning, when you start and adapt and tweak your school community until it has product to market fit, you'll actually need to do a lot of this clarity work. Okay, so before we jump in, quickly, why would you listen to me? My name is Evelyn Weiss. I've done over 8 million in online sales, over 65,000 customers, own one of the most reputable school communities, which is Grow with Evelyn. I do over 50,000 a month with Grow with Evelyn, and I'm also one of the biggest Skool affiliates, and I also run the ads for the platform. So I know a thing or two about Skool. So now that we have this out of the way, let's jump right in. So the first thing is I've brought you a questions catalog that covers where most people have most uncertainty around. And the biggest one really is the value proposition, value archetype of your community. I did a video around this, and we're going to bring up this video that I did around community value models. There's a lot of different core value models and combinations of them that you can make to the foundation of your school community. Now, when you have made that decision around it, and if you're like feeling completely unclear, maybe you haven't even really started your community yet, I actually highly recommend you check out these two videos, how to find the community value models and then how to define your niche on Skool. That clarity work in itself is worth gold. So start there if you're like, honestly, Evelyn, I'm just completely not knowing what I'm doing. But if you already have your community idea, you might just need to solidify that knowledge a little bit further. And it starts with answering questions around this value proposition. And what I really want you to do is come in here, download Loom, which is a screen recording app. You can go with the free version, record up to 5-minute chunks, and then just click here and record yourself as you're reading through these questions and answer them as much as possible, just shooting from the hip. Okay, so I'm just gonna rush through this like really fast to show, okay, primary job to be done. Which single job does this space reliably perform? Quick answers, curated opportunity, backstage access, chill and hangout, live practice, buyer-seller matching. The primary job that my community consistently performs is taking the members alongside my growth journey and bundling their focus around what I think they need to do next to grow in their business. It's basically highest proximity to me and a motivation and new opportunity vehicle by providing accessible learning experiences to them. Value moments. What are the top 3 really repeatable moments when members feel like, that's why I'm here? So I think the teachings in the classrooms that are more step-by-step, that give them a quick win. I think the feedback that they can get from the community that is very specific, the things that will click. And I also think the observing me as I do things and being able to get my questions answered by me in the Q&A and just have the opportunity to have a lot more context around what I'm doing, how I'm holding myself, how I'm growing in a business. Non-goals boundaries. What do you explicitly not do? Like therapy, lead gen, hand-holding, hot takes, etc. I specifically am moving away from very individualized hands-on support, and I'm moving closer towards role modeling in general and providing tools for self-management, self-accountability. Archetypal label, which label fits best? Utility, access network, discovery, knowledge, entertainment, etc. So for me, from all of the community value models, I would say it's a role modeling, it's a documenting of my journey, and it's a proximity model, right? So you can see I have a ton of clarity around this, right? So I'm just shooting this from the hip, and I basically record myself. I'm just going to stop this now because you would just want to do this ideally as long as you can in one go. And then if you use the free version of Loom, you might need to do multiple goals. So if you struggle like a lot more than me to answer these questions, you might need to do some digging. So what you can do to make this easier for you is to just head to ChatGPT and say, I'm trying to clarify how I am providing value with and through my community. Here are the questions I got, but I am still confused. Give me other questions and break these down further, right? So it's just like, it's basically self-inquiry. So you're asking yourself and you're getting questions that you can answer easily, right? So here it breaks it down a little bit more for you. For example, when someone joins, what problem or tension do they instantly instinctively hope this space will solve? What do members use the space for when they don't know what else to do? A place to normalize their progress, get unstuck, etc. Right? So just get help receiving questions that you can answer, right? And if I say I still have so much troubles to answer this, what can be a starting point right now? Look for evidence, not ideas. When do members engage without promoting them? What do they thank you for unpromoted? I'm just starting out with a completely new community. Okay, beautiful. That's actually the best time to clarify. Yes. Okay. And then it gives me a much simpler starting point. Why would someone keep showing up here after week 1? And then you can take it from there, right? But the whole goal is that either you can already answer these questions or you break it down further for you. What you want to walk away with is being able to clearly articulate how your space creates value, because that conviction, that clarity, it trickles into all of the other moves that you make, and it will also help you shape the space differently. Now, so this is the core, and if you do nothing else, just spend a ton of time there. And then what you want to do is just take your transcript again, head to ChatGPT, make a new chat, and say, what am I really saying here? What is the value people get from my space? Break it down in super simple terms and explain why it's worth paying for. All right, so it's basically you need to process this internally, and you need to find the language and a vocabulary for it. Okay, so job to be done: help me grow my business by growing alongside Evelyn, seeing how she thinks, decides, and evolves, so I can model that and apply it to myself. You're not selling content, you're selling proximity to lived clarity, the ability to watch a real person navigate the same growth path in real time with transparency and structure. That's rare and deeply valuable because it gives people something most programs don't: a mirror for becoming their true self. Core value people get, in super simple terms, people join because they want to shortcut confusion, see what actually matters right now to move forward. Borrow conviction, stay motivated by watching you embody the mindset, structure, etc. Right? Why it's worth paying for: because most people try to grow online are overloaded, underexposed what it actually looks like to apply them all in a grounded certain way. Okay, now even simpler: as if you knew nothing about me and explained it to someone who knows nothing about my world. Show me the real life value equations. What the space actually does: it's a space where people learn how to grow their business and themselves by watching someone who's actively doing it, not just talking about it. The core job is help me figure out what actually matters next in my business and show me how to act on it. Okay, what people get out of it: problem, I don't know what to focus on next. A clear step every month based on what you're doing, right? So it's like where my focus is, I pull the focus off the community, and I don't even submit myself to a monthly cadence. So it saves time, reduces overwhelm, keeps momentum, right? And it offers inspiration for what to do next. I'm stuck watching everyone else succeed. A real example of someone building in real time. They learn faster by observing. Cause and effect. I fall off track without accountability, a group to grow alongside you, right? So this is how this works. Without the space, you waste time plus energy guessing what works. You feel stuck, you lose motivation. With the space, you get clear next steps, real example, community feedback. You grow faster, make more money, feel proud of how you're doing it. So it's clarity, X focus, X consistency. This is progress, right? So you want to get to the point where you have a clear value equation for your space. And this is the most important thing. Once you're able to feel that in your bones, you're able to weave it into everything that you do. And that you can stop right there if your goal is only to fill and sell. Now, for some people, some objections come up, right? So there's some reasons why they don't want to grow their community. It's because they're like, well, if I fill it and I promise that, like, how do I actually deliver on this or that? I'm actually unclear about that. So for that, we have the following questions: members and use cases. So what you want to think about is here: name up to 3 distinct member segments, role, state, niche, and the primary use case for each. Entry triggers: what specific event or need makes them join now? A deadline, a launch, a challenge that's happening. Session patterns: how do they typically engage? 5-minute daily check-ins, weekly deep dives, binges, are they opting in, right? So if you just go through and answer the follow-up questions, it will give you a great understanding of how you want to structure the space further. And if you struggle to answer some of these questions because you're like, I'm not sure what this is all about, you do the same as I did before. You take it to ChatGPT and you ask it to break it down simpler for your specific community, right? So you can also just head there and say, change these questions to be simpler and specific to my community, right? So if you're struggling to answer this, and just make it easier for yourself. And you can do this with anything in life and business, by the way. Just make it easier for yourself by saying, hey, give me another way I can do this. Because the outcome is always the same. You have answered some questions and then you can ask for clarification on how I want to structure it. Member types: name up to 3 kinds of people who join, right? For example, new Skool creators, etc. And if you're like really overwhelmed, say, ask me 22 questions that will fully clarify this point, make them me see, and answer them as though it was me. So what this does is it further takes off creative burden from you, because instead of you having to even come up with the answer, it answers it for you. And what you then need to do is you only need to react to it and correct it. Okay, so it takes off a ton of creative burden for you. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing this. So if you're watching the video, you can take a screenshot of this. And then who are the main types of members in your community? School creators, coaches, and service providers transitioning into scalable offers. So I would say it is first and foremost personal development enthusiasts, people who want to grow and people who want to make a living monetizing their growth journey in one way or another. That's my core target audience. A lot of them are school creators. A lot of them are people that mistakenly call themselves coaches, but they are not really a coach. They just are online educators in one way or another, productizing their experience. And the third one would be, yes, people who have done things as a service, because that's my background as well. And now they want to transition into a teaching and proximity model. Right, so I would just go through and I would correct it. And then with my recording where I basically corrected it, because sometimes it's just easier to say, well, look, it's actually not that. I would go and say, and I would go through all of the points and then I would go, I have recorded feedback. So just put the transcript, please update the definition of members and use cases. Okay, member types, personal growth, enthusiasts, why they join. So it just updates everything then. And then your job is just to read through it and understand much deeper what you're doing. Like I said, this is a type of work most people don't do because they don't understand how much it impacts everything else that they do. Your clarity is the foundation for being able to be consistent. If you look at consistency, the definition of the word is that you are always of the same quality, and consistency is massively magnetic to people because it's basically integrity in action. People feel safe because they know what you stand for. People feel like they can trust you because you have that clarity and you have that nuance and you can articulate well what the space is for and you have clarified your intentions and your visions for the space. If you struggle to grow and sell, 100% promise you, it's the underlying issue is that you are not clear enough about what you sell. You have a superficial idea, you've gone brain pregnant around with it and you're holding everything up there. And then when you try to execute it, real world happens and you're like, so what exactly am I doing here again? So you lack the depth of understanding of your vision and what you want to bring to life. And the clarity work is the most important piece. This is how you do it. Nobody can do this for you. Please do it. It will massively change how you're able to build and grow. Thank you. And I see you in another one.